Everybody, welcome back to the fifth video which deals with reproduction. Mind you, we are discussing about chapter 1 and we are discussing the fifth concept in life processes, that is reproduction. First and foremost, what do you understand by the term reproduction? It is to produce offsprings. And by the way, do you know what offspring is? Offspring is nothing but a young one. So I repeat, reproduction is producing young ones. This is just a dictionary meaning, and there is another word for young one, that is offspring. Okay, all right. So reproduction can be of two types, wherein plants and animals would reproduce asexually and by sexual methods. I would repeat, reproduction can be either asexual or sexual. We would discuss about these things in later lessons, but to just give you a brief introduction of what this means is, like for example, here I have a few pictures, assortment of a few pictures, which of course I have downloaded from the internet, which gives you a brief idea of what asexual reproduction can be all about. Take a few moments to go through each of these images. I'll give you a few seconds to think about them. Anyway, I would go again, discuss all these things. You need not have to worry. So just pause your video for a few minutes now, have a thorough look at them, and then we would start discussing. Okay, I hope you've all had a look at the picture. Here you can see a leaf, right? This is an example of a plant. Name of the plant here is Bryophyllum. Here the leaf at the edges will give rise to small little tiny plants or plantlets, which when disconnected, if this part disconnects or is cut off from the main plant and planted in the soil again, it will regrow into an entire new plant. Here there is a wild strawberry, example of a wild strawberry. It produces thin stems which are very close to the surface of the ground, and again at every node it produces leaves on top and roots at the bottom. By chance, if the stem is cut off in this region, each plant is able to survive as an independent plant and can again produce several such strawberry plants in the future. So we have discussed about two plant examples. There are few more here, potato, onion and all. You can just have a look at them. I would not like to go into those details. I would like to move on to animal examples, which you can see here. Here, this is the example of a amoeba splitting itself. The image is enlarged here, and this diagram can be referred for that purposes. This is amoeba, a single cell with a nucleus at the center. Have a look at that. This nucleus splits up here, right? First the nucleus splits, followed by the division of the cytoplasm in the fourth one here, and slowly the cell membrane caves in, right? It caves in to form two new amoebae, right? So this is also an example of asexual reproduction in animals. There is another one. You can see a beautiful orange colored star here. This is a starfish, wherein this accounts for fragmentation. Each arm of the star, if it is broken off, that has the capability to develop into a new starfish all over again. So this process is fragmentation. You will learn about all these later on. You not have to worry about these terminologies such as fragmentation, binary fission and all those things. Just remember that these plants and animals which I have shown in this particular slide or screen which I'm sharing is all examples of asexual means of reproduction, whereas here there are no gametes or involved. The entire on the surface of the plant or animal there are small little plantlets growing, which again detaches itself from the parent plant to develop into a new independent plant, or a fragment as a which is detached from the parent has the capability to develop into a new starfish. Or here there is one more example here at the base of the sheet, which talks about regeneration in planaria. Planaria is an example of flatworm. You might have all heard of tapeworms, isn't it? This belongs to the same family. Here, have a look at this picture which shows the flatworm. See, if it is cut up into 3 parts, these parts with the head can regenerate the posterior part of the body to develop a new organism, right? And the one with the base is capable of developing a head, and again a new organism is developed. So these are all examples of asexual reproduction, seen both in plant and animals. So we have discussed about asexual reproduction in plants and animals. Sexual reproduction would involve fusion of gametes, or also called as sex cells, and this fusion would result in the production of a new organism. This can be seen in highly developed organisms such as human beings, such as man, human beings, mammals, and highly evolved plants such as angiosperms or flowering plants, right? So sexual reproduction involves the fusion of sex cells to produce new organism. Examples can be highly evolved animals such as human beings, or highly evolved plants, which represents the flowering plants actually. So let me just quickly change the color of the pen here, make it pink. Yeah, let us choose pink and go through. We are discussing the 5th aspect of living organisms, that is reproduction. We are continuing with the first chapter. However, first and foremost, we understood what reproduction is, that is producing offsprings, okay, or young ones. This is just a dictionary meaning, not the actual textbook meaning. This is just to help you understand what reproduction is all about. And reproduction can be of 2 types, asexual and sexual means. Asexually, these lower organisms or less well developed organisms such as amoeba can asexually reproduce by binary fission, right? Then there might be flatworms. I'll erase this looks like H for some of you, right? Flat worms reproduce by regeneration, right? Then you might have all heard of yeast, which is used in baking. Yeast is also a single cellular fungi or fungi which reproduces by budding. That means if this is a simple yeast cell, okay, we call that as a mother cell. It will produce a small bud which will grow to a larger size, right? And once it grows large enough, it detaches. This can detach itself, and this is called as the daughter cell, which can function independently upon detaching itself from the parent. You can see budding in an animal called as Hydra. This is also not highly evolved organism. It is this budding is seen in Hydra and also in yeast, right? Asexual reproduction is even seen in plants such as Bryophyllum. It is seen in plants such as wild strawberry, Okay, I think now you have understood that reproduction is of two types, asexual and sexual, and you know the basic difference. All right, and let me make another point here. See, all living organisms will have to reproduce. However, there are a few organisms which are sterile. What do you understand by sterile? That means they do not reproduce. There are always few exceptions in biology, okay? You will have to remember. So, some organisms do not reproduce and they are called as sterile organisms. Examples can be mules, okay? Some of the worker bees, and also some human beings who do not reproduce. They are called sterile. Okay, so we have discussed the fifth aspect of life processes. We say that reproduction is a very essential characteristic of living organisms. All living organisms do reproduce, right? Their reproduction might be asexual or sexual. You have understood the difference between asexual and sexual and a few simple examples, and also you know that some living organisms, though they are living, they might not reproduce and they are called as sterile. Okay, with this we come to the end of discussion for this particular topic. To learn more about NEET biology, please subscribe to PEBBLEZ Pedagogy. See you all in the next one. Until then, take care. Subscribe to my channel and keep watching. Do like my videos. Share them. Okay. Thank you so much.